The elevator dinged like a death sentence. Floor 42. I stepped out into the glass and steel skybox boardroom of Altura Tech. The city sprawled beneath us like a glittering minefield. I wasn't supposed to be here. Not tonight. Not in the presence of Lucas Reed, the new CEO who had arrived 6 months ago with a LinkedIn bio full of buzzwords and a reputation for cutting people like stock options. Lucas scanned the room, every eye on him like moths circling a flame. He spotted me, glanced once, and his smile tightened. A predator recognizing prey he thought was defenseless. "Ah, Madison," he said, voice smooth, too polished. "Glad you made it. Shouldn't you be buried in compliance reports somewhere?" I smiled politely. Inside, my blood was ice. I'd been buried for weeks. System access revoked, emails ignored, my Slack profile blinking gray like a ghost account. Lucas's idea of efficiency was erasing the people who actually kept Altura from burning down. And tonight, apparently, I was the final line item in his spreadsheet. The room buzzed with investors, department heads, and a few junior associates who still believed charisma and gym selfies were leadership. Lucas strutted through a PowerPoint presentation about streamlining operations and maximizing shareholder value, each word dripping with arrogance. He didn't see me as a person. He saw me as a footnote he could delete. I waited. Years ago, after the 2017 supply chain fiasco that almost tanked Altura's flagship product launch, the board had quietly written me into a critical continuity clause. Essential personnel, me, could not be removed without explicit board approval. My name was first, inked like a secret code only I had remembered to protect. Lucas, of course, hadn't read that part. Nobody bothered to warn him. Midway through his speech, Lucas mentioned me by accident, or perhaps by habit, in the kind of dismissive tone that's designed to humiliate. "We've optimized the compliance team," he said. "Madison, you'll be reallocated to other duties." A few investors laughed, thinking it was a clever joke. I reached into my purse and pulled out a crisp, folded page, the continuity clause. The room didn't see me. The board didn't see me. Lucas still thought he was in control. "Lucas," I said, voice calm, quiet enough to make the room lean forward. "Are you familiar with Clause 9.6b, Section 3 of the board-mandated operational charter?" His smile faltered. Yes?" "Yes," I said, placing the page on the polished table. Fingers steady, letting the ink catch the chandelier light. "This clause explicitly prevents unilateral reassignment or termination of essential personnel without board consent, which means your recent optimization initiatives violate corporate governance and could trigger personal liability." The room froze. Investors stopped smiling. Department heads shifted uncomfortably. Lucas's face, usually carved from arrogance, tightened. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I let the silence stretch. Every second was a countdown. Minutes later, the board called an emergency vote. Every change Lucas tried to make that morning? Nullified. Every attempt to erase me? Legally impossible. The continuity clause was a trap he had walked into, unawares, and there was nothing he could do. By the time the meeting ended, Lucas slumped into his chair, muttering excuses about miscommunication and team realignment. His power evaporated quietly, but completely. Meanwhile, I packed up my laptop and notes, walked past him, and left the boardroom. The city lights below shimmered like 1,000 tiny witnesses. Nobody clapped. Nobody cheered. I didn't need them to. Justice in corporate America doesn't come with applause. It comes quietly, through clauses, contracts, and the slow, steady drip of consequences. Lucas's emails the next morning? Frantic. Legal threats, HR panic, and whispered apologies, all perfectly irrelevant. I had played by the rules, I had followed protocol, and the invisible ink had finally bled. I sipped my coffee, looking out over the skyline, letting the chaos unfold behind me. In a world full of ego and arrogance, sometimes survival isn't about fighting. It's about knowing exactly where the landmines are buried and quietly watching someone step on them themselves.